Hi, YouTube. I hope you're all doing well. I am doing okay. We might have an interruption, but we'll just work through it if we do. And I'll explain it as it's going on if it goes on. So, either way, um, if you recall yesterday, I was talking about a woman. I heard her name now. I forgot her last name that quickly, but um, Rebecca, who lost her two sons to the fentanyl crisis going on in America. I'm going to share a link to Frank Shot Pearson. He'll give you the full story on it and how our public officials that are hired by us will not close those borders, and the people that are being affected while we worry about other people's borders in other countries, and people are dying here by the thousands because of this, and a lot of them are the younger generations. And this is a hideous crisis in our country that needs to be addressed immediately. So I'm going to share Frank Schatz's video with you, and I hope you enjoy his channel too. Um, But anyway, yeah, this is a very serious thing going on in our country, and it only takes a very small amount to kill millions of people. And I'm talking like, from what I heard, it was something like 1 pound of this stuff can kill like 200,000 people or something very large, might even be a larger amount than that. But it just takes a minute amount of this stuff, and it can just what do away with you immediately one time, so this is a serious thing in our lives. And it's just not that, but it's a health crisis all over the world, um, with a lot of the drugs that are even synthetic and those types of things that can be made in labs. So, um, yeah, those are my concerns for today. Well, amongst many, but yeah, you might hear my dryer in the background. I've been washing bedding and different things, and I enjoy that. It makes everything smell so fresh. So, yeah, changing blankets on the couch where the kitties lay, and so yeah, different places they lay, freshening up their blankets, and yeah. So, like I say, it makes everything fresh. So, I did fix my bed temporarily, but I think I'll be getting a new one and ordering some clothes. We'll see. Things might work out. Even as far as my future financial situation, I think I've got something cured for that, maybe. But I'm always going to be okay either way. It's just if things don't have to be as hard as they could be, that would be really nice. So, and I think everything's going to turn out somehow okay. Like I say, God does take care of me. Um, and sometimes it's not apparent right away, but He's apparent all the time. So I got to keep reminding myself, even in the roughest of times, that I know I'm going to be okay like that. And to remind you guys that too, because in hard times it's easy to fall into the poor me syndrome, all of us. And see, too, that's why I'm careful not to get abusive even to the dark cabal that actually have a hand in killing people. When I think about that and I get out here and I get so radical, I just get pissed and then I'll start crying. You know, I it, it is overwhelming like that. So when you try and talk sense to monsters and they're not listening because they don't care, that's the first sign. But the second thing about that is when they pretend to care to get what they want, or they'll do something for you to get what they want, but only so much, that type of. and and then I'm waiting, like, I hope and I pray and I have faith, but there might be reasons in our lives that things don't always work out the way we want them to. So, you know, that's the part, the them unsuspecting surprises that happen in our lives. So, but I do think it's really important, even for people that have been extremely burnt on this planet, not to stop. I mean, don't stop socializing. Just be really selective on who you socialize with. And when you get to know people, even with their faults, what can you deal with and what can't you deal with? What drains your energy and what adds to it? And any kind of interaction after severe abuse is it's not so much stressing as it's very energetic. And if you're a people person and you like being around people and you're an empath, it will drain you, whether um, you can be the happiest person in your life and go home so tired just from having a nice day, if you know what I mean. See what I'm saying? So to gauge your time that you do go around people is really important. So um, that's what I've been doing in my life. I had overload, and I love being around people. It's just, the world is a very crazy place right now. And going out in public really is even kind of, for me, a very strange experience, because the older I get, the more I feel separated from the world like that. I mean, I'm not better than anybody else. It's just that they bother me more because everybody's starting to seem so young, like they're all babies. And but I always felt like that. I was kind of a different different type kid. you know I guess what it really boils down to is I spent a lot of my life talking to older people because I didn't have a lot of young friends. And the older people must have been people like that when they were younger too, because they took me under their wing like that. So, yeah, and that's a good thing, you know. Everything we had in our yard was stuck again: the tractor, the Mustang, the truck. My other truck um, is snowed in, and our hot rod, and we wouldn't take the bug out in this weather, and it wouldn't do very well anyway. So, but by the grace of God, there's this guy that wants to trade for our quad runner and another truck that we have for a Jeep CJ7. It doesn't have a title, but we're not going to go off our property with it. But it has a plow, and it's got a really nice topper and heat and everything we need. Although it does have like a one valve that's stuck, but that's not a big issue. And the guy even said he could change it for Doug, and we've got a shop too. But um, it's got like low mileage, like 45,000 on it or something, and it's like about what do you say it was 2009? or something like that. So a pretty decent little plow, and with enough life in it to get us out of the wind, the rest of the winter anyway. But the cool thing was, without Doug even asking, this guy had a really pretty Dodge Ram. It was sort of a like a burgundy red, or like a raspberry red colored one, and pulled our truck out, and then tried to pull the tractor out. Doug had went into the shop. He had to use the jumper cables to get it started, because it's got its problems, but when it's cold out too. But anyway, not real bad, but the battery will drain if something, or get cold or whatever. So before Doug could even get out of the shop, this guy was out there getting ready to pull the tractor out, which was really nice. But he wants to trade so bad with what we had. He asked Doug if he could just pop in sometime, and he's about 40 miles away. And Doug said, sure. Well, I knew he'd be here this morning, and he might be here again tomorrow, because he really wants to make that trade right away. So he's talking about what trailers he can use to do this and get them all here, and we've got some too. And Doug said, well, you could do this or do that, and they're making deals. So that's the good news. So, yeah. So anyway, he needed to get to town today, to get some bills paid, and it's like, so perfect timing. The guy just showed up. And he really was a nice guy. I didn't meet him. I just saw what he was doing out there, and it's like, wow. And I could just tell by his attitude that he had God in his heart. Because he saw me in the window, and he put his head down. Humble person. It's like, how nice is that? I've had animals stand outside in my yard and pee on the other side of their truck while they're talking to me. I closed the window and I told Doug, you get rid of this trash in my life. And I used to answer the phone, and the person had been a customer. But trying to take liberties at me, or like piss on me when Doug isn't around. Or I used to answer the phone and he'd try and take his liberties there too. It's like, you pieces of shit. So I just stopped answering the phone in a business sense like that. It's like, no more of this. That's enough of that. How disgraceful. You know. I also know that he's a local Mason, and I insulted him. Well, this is what happened. I had a green Mustang, and he went to touch like the top of it, and I said, keep your filthy Masonic hands off my car, or something like that at him, or keep your keep your Mason hands off my car, I said to him. He stood back and he looked at me, and I just looked at him like, I mean it. Jack your shit, you big bastard. Back off my car. Anyway. Because we all were outside talking about cars. And that was before he did what I described. So what he did was a payback, and he knew that it would insult and hurt me, because I had God in my heart. So yeah, he knew what he was doing. These people do. I've had them type of things happen to me so many times, it's not even funny. The real brave and stupid ones are the ones that would come around when my husband wasn't home. Oh, those were some dumb, for real. I had to make it lethally clear to some of these that were so backwoods. Well, the thing is, it's backwoods, but it's like it's a lot of bikers around me. They're either bikers and farmers, or farmers and uh, the political ones that are around here are Slovakian blood, that type of, those are the biggest influencers around this territory as far as thinking they have the say so in everything, you know. But it doesn't always work out for them. But so I've been having a wonderful day. It's like probably still close to 40 degrees out, you know. So, but it was about 47, I bet. And I put some salt out on the step, and I have some ice. I tried chopping through it with the shovel, but that didn't work too good. So I put some salt down there, and it's already eating it away, you know, melting the snow on the ice. So that's like good. But even if you put salt down and it's like 30 or below 30, it doesn't mean it's always going to melt it. It might, if it's too cold, that salt will just sit on that ice and not do anything, which is really crazy. But yeah, kind of crazy like how they make ice cream with the salt like an insulator on the outside of a old-fashioned ice cream maker, if you know what I'm talking with the crank. But you can actually do it in a blender too, or a food processor. But yeah, I made chocolate ice cream in my food processor. I froze chocolate milk, so, and then blended it. You know, I let it get a little chunky, and then I added some cream with it, and yeah, it was good. Maybe a little too rich, actually, too creamy. So I would do it a little differently next time. So yeah, I saw Hershey Canada has a ad with one guy that calls himself something he she, and they have a candy bar, cookies and cream one, that, and a commercial for it where it's a he she bar, spelled H or her she bar. It's like, oh, it's got like four natural women and one thing in that ad. I shared it on my Facebook, and call for, or time for whoever, you know who I mean. Call shared it on one of his channels too, or more than one, in his website, you know, talking about that a few days ago. But yeah, a lot of crazy things going on in the world. That's all I can say, and I'm never going to get used to it. I'm not going to sit here and be quiet about it until every person that acts like shit towards other people is either put in a cage or squelched to the point where they can't even walk upon this planet in peace without the rest of us jumping down their throat, because I'm sick of it, you know. So that's when the victim turns into the hunter, is what that's called. It's called, we're sick of your shit and we're not putting up with it anymore. And these people need to close the borders so people stop dying. And we don't need the immigrants in here to make money for our country. American people can have those jobs and make money, and we can up the pay for people. And they did a study, I do believe it was in the UK. Don't quote me just on that, but last week I had heard how they had done a study with people having 4-day work weeks and like 32 hours a week or something, and uh, up their pay so they'd make like the same amount of money, and their productive abilities were far better. I mean, they put out like the whatever they were doing, like whether it was factory or work or whoever they studied, their productive abilities companies, or it might be even in a corporation or whatever, offices, but they did far better on that 4 day work week than they did with the traditional 5 40 hour. So, um, and that was studied, and that's a fact. So maybe people around the world will start getting wiser and taking care of other human beings than abusing them. There are better ways to do things to make the world go around, you know, and that's at the corporate level, wherever, whoever, you know. If you want a big fancy house, go buy one. Or everybody should have a free house. Guess what? Not everybody wants a big fancy house. You know, some people just want a comfortable place and not really anything too extravagant because it just is not necessary, you know. If they're worried about carbon footprints, they should start with theirs, not pick on the people that have been conservative all their lives in every single way. With that, they can totally fuck off, and I will fight their asses physically. It's not a joke. And there's a lot of American people that feel the same way. We want our borders closed, and we want you politicians to do your jobs. You work for us. Don't forget that. You don't like the job, step the hell down and let somebody out in the community that cares about other people do it the right way. I would say that's the way to go about this shit, you know. Go in and do like you have to do. Talk to your town councils, go to your city town hall meetings, voice your opinions, and do it in force, in mass. I mean, not in force. I mean as um, we the people. Yeah, that's force. However we can get it done is how we need to do it, whatever it takes, you know. Now there are people down there and they're still building on that wall, and there's people that have razor wire and electric fences and all kinds of things on their own property trying to stop illegals from coming in their homes, and um, the raids and different things that go on all night long down around there. That's ridiculous. They're United States citizens and they should be protected. That border should be protected right now, today, with our own army. And it's a fact, if you have a line of military, it's less likely that illegals, and most of them being unarmed or even trying to smuggle weapons or drugs, are going to try and come through that. And that's where our military should be in force right now on both our borders and all our waterway entries. Right from the St. Lawrence Riverway coming off the Atlantic right into middle of America, into the Great Lakes that are as big as oceans. They're called freshwater oceans for that reason, you know? So, yeah, these things need to be, I mean, yeah, they have Coast Guard, but we need to step it up because we're being invaded in the worst ways possible. We're being chemically invaded from every angle, toxically and chemically and emotionally and spiritually. And the only thing we can do to really fight back is to make these people in places that can get things done do it right, and make sure the people that haven't been doing it never have a chance to have another seat in a position where they can do something to somebody else like they've been doing. That's disgusting. If you know you wouldn't do something like that and I know I wouldn't, then why wouldn't I want to fight something like that that is doing that? That's my point. And yeah, I do. I have moments like I just like to rip your stupid head off to the dark cabal. You know, several of them at a time. A person can dream, right? Well, that's how I feel some days, and I'm being honest about that. Would I do that? Probably not, unless I had to. And then I wouldn't feel too damn bad about it. So, yeah, that's true. And if, I'm not going to say if that makes me evil, because no, there's not an evil bone in my body. But does my passion make me a rageful, angry person? No. Or a bitter person? No. Or any kind of bigot or anything else they want to call me? No, no, and no. You know, it's nothing but love. Would I be loving to hit them? Yeah, I sure the hell would. Cheers to that. That's what they need. Some stupid. Think that they can just take money to do anything they want to people? Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem hitting it and feeling good about it and making sure that if you ever think you're going to use money and take money from people and people are getting hurt and killed because of that, and you ever try and do something like that again, I would want to hit you again. And so would a lot of other people. So don't forget that. That's what I would be able to tell them. You know, is that corporal punishment? Whatever it takes. When the government is out of line, we the people have the right to overthrow that shit. Now, if they don't want that, then they better start doing things right. It's as simple as that. Because people are getting fed up in different ways, you know. Let's put it this way, we are going to make them do the right thing, period, whether they want to or not. That's what's going on here. And yeah, it's a struggle, and it looks like because of their money that they are winning, but it isn't like that at all, because the people with the true nature of God will win out, and so will their children. They will be okay. Everything will be okay, although it looks just crazier than shit. You know, it's a spiritual war for real. Just don't forget there are good people out there. Now, if they're going to play games and stuff, they're not wanting to be good because they're enjoying this world way too much the way it is. But you can tell who they are by what they do, you know, and you know what level they're on, you know, so that's kind of easy. But we're not their victims anymore, and they're gonna find out the old saying where the cow ate the calf, kind of an unnatural thing, and that's what they didn't expect, although they were told. May think the book of Revelation is a joke. Well, jokey jokey on you, because no, it's not. It's a time clock that they tried to hide from everybody, and they're still trying to hide it. But the ones that are very aware, they know that. They know it anyway. It's instinct. And that's how The woman gives birth to the son with the moon under her feet, and the sun clothes with the sun, and that's how the sun rises. And that's a spiritual war, but that's the Christ blood in everybody, and that's what's going on, whether they like it or not. So, um, they can use their money, but their evil deeds will be met with, and it won't be pretty for them. So, and they're stuck in a flesh with Christ inside their body. No matter what, that's some funny shit right there. So, think about it. Think about if you were the most evil thing on the planet, but you were stuck in a body that had somebody that was so pure in there. How could you drown that out? You'd have to live. It's like you're evil, but you're living with this good twin that you just want to kill. And they're like, that's what I'm going to name my video. Doug said, I told him, I'm just trying to help people so they don't have to suffer. And he said, it's like pouring gas on their heads. I said, exactly. That's what they're doing. They're pouring gas on their heads. No, I can't name it that. I have to address the border on this video so people are more aware of the biggest part of the warfare is at our children, and it's happening right now, and their children to come. So, all right, everybody, thank you for joining me. I love y'all. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.